welcome. My name is Josh, and I'll be conducting the interview with you today. Before we get started, how are you doing? How's your day been so far?
Yeah, hi Joshua. Yeah, it's been going pretty well, nothing much, just cold weather.
Yeah, same. I got my cup of tea with me just to warm me up because I'm actually freezing. Um,
Yeah.
okay, so today we're exploring how do university students experience and benefit from listening to music. So this interview focuses on your personal listening habits, choices, and responses to music. So like your insights will help us shape music-based programs to support student well-being. Once we've collected your responses, we then go and run an analysis to see what the relationship is between university students and music listening, and to see if we can develop positive interventions in the future. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, that sounds all good.
So before we go on, just want to confirm that you have consented to take part in this interview, and that all your responses will be confidential. All
Yes.
good?
Hmm.
Sweet. Um, the way today will work is that I have a list of 8 questions to ask you, about 8 questions, and be given enough time to think about them and respond to them. If at any time you wish to have a break or stop the interview, you can do so. You're not held hostage here. The approximate time for the interview is about 8 minutes. Yeah, so does that sound all good?
Yeah,
Any
makes sense.
questions before we get started? Got to set yourself up.
And no, I think that's all good. Happy to hop in.
Awesome. So now I'll commence the recording and begin the interview. Click. Um, so first question, what type of music do you enjoy listening to?
So it does vary, but I think currently it's a bit of pop. We'll go with pop right now.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. I think it's good to have a bit of variation though. I think it helps
Yeah,
depending on what sort of mood you're in, you can listen to different types. Um,
absolutely.
yeah. So as a student, can you describe situations or settings that you listen to music in?
Yeah, so I think as a student, a lot of the times having that motivation to study, so getting at my
Mm,
desk, and sometimes I just need a bit of music going to get
yeah.
some momentum and some energy up. So that's kind of when I turn on a bit of music.
Yeah, it gives you like a bit of a boost. So
Yeah.
so in these examples, why do you turn to listening to music? It sounds like it does help you just get started with the activities, but are there any other reasons why you might listen to music?
Yeah, I think for that general sort of energy boost,
Mm,
I like listening to it with friends, putting it on myself, just to
yeah,
really, I think it's generally just to get that sort of energy up. Yeah.
yeah. No, that sounds good. And that leads to the next question pretty well. So how do you think music can help students connect with other students or other people in general? Like you've said that you listen to it with friends.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think, at times when you begin in university, it can be sort of isolating, but it's good in terms of catching up with friends
Yeah,
after classes and stuff. You're
yeah,
going somewhere, listen to music or just, bonding over a song, finding the
yeah.
same artist. So it's really good at connecting people. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that sometimes that's all you need, just something in common, like music, to be able to like create connections with other people. And it does help, especially if you're at a new university, to have something to share with others. Yeah.
Yeah, find those similarities. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So do you think listening to music has any sort of impact on students' well-being? And if so, how?
Yeah, I definitely think it does. I think if you engage, well, me personally, I believe if you
Mm,
engage in negative music, you're more likely to have
mm,
a negative sort of disposition.
yeah.
Whereas I found for myself personally, like when I engage in positive music or inspiring sort of music, then I'm more
Mm.
likely to feel that sort of way as well.
Yeah, that's a really good point to make. Just like what type of music that you listen to can elicit like a different sort of effect. Um, so, like from that, could you give me any sort of example of when music has actually influenced your mood?
A specific example, or I think maybe like, watching when I've watched a sad movie in the past and then you go through it and you're going through a sad moment and you want to feel it again. So you just turn
Yeah.
on that tune just to pretend you're in that situation and it's that deep. So I think
I know
maybe that's
exactly.
like
I know
that.
exactly what you mean.
Yeah, yeah.
I've done the same thing. As soon as I hear it in like a TV show or something, I'll like find out what that song is, download it straight away, and then yeah, just like
Yeah,
relive the moment.
just to pretend you're in there.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so you've touched on it a little bit before, but how do you think music affects motivation, focus, and or productivity when you're studying?
Yeah, yeah. I think it is useful. Like that's sort of my general answer. But I
Yeah.
do think if you change it up too much or if you put too much emphasis on the music and what type, it can get a
Mm,
bit distracting. So I do think it's good for motivation if you know sort of what beats or tunes are consistent with your studying or
mm,
motivation or feeling good, like using it as a method of improving yourself, sort of being
yeah.
a bit strategic about it.
Yeah, so it's not so much like you can't focus too much about what the music is because takes away from like the actual task that you have to do.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So are there any specific genres of music that you listen to whilst you study?
Whilst I'm studying, probably classical music. I find that for some
Yeah,
reason
I've
gets
heard
me in the
that
flow.
yeah, I've heard that actually does really help with studying. I've got a friend who does that as well. He just
Yeah,
has
yeah,
like a YouTube video of classical music and it helps him
yeah.
while he studies. Um, so is there anything before we move on that you'd like to add that hasn't come up yet?
Um, no, not really.
Okay, awesome. Um, okay, so those are all the questions that I have. Thank you for being like open and vulnerable in sharing your experiences. Now I'll stop the recording. Um, so yeah, I just want to touch base with you, see how you're feeling after all the questions. If you have any questions for me, if there were any questions that you thought were could have been changed or that were really good.
Yeah, no, I like the general flow, I think, of this questioning. I think it's important to use it in a strategic manner, but yeah, I'm pretty happy. Might listen to some music after this.
Nice. Thanks. Okay, so the next steps in this process are we transcribe the interview. From there, we conduct an analysis and then eventually a final report. At each stage of this process, you'll have an option to have access to the copies of the transcribes, analysis, and report. And you can just contact me if you wish to have access to those. Um, does that sound all good?
Yeah, that sounds all good. I might take a copy if that's all right.
Sweet. I'll send you the transcript to this after. So yeah, thank you for being a part of the interview. If you have any concerns or unresolved feelings from this interview, you can just reach out to myself or the support services that we have, which were included in the explanatory statement. So thank you again for participating. I hope you have a good day.
Thanks, Joshua. You too.